everyone and welcome to Harlequin TV for May. Today we have a special guest, debut Australian author Angela Lawrence, here to talk about her new book, The Rules of Conception. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you.
Angela, tell us a little bit about The Rules of Conception.
Well, The Rules of Conception is a novel which centres around a 35-year-old woman called Rachel. She has a great city life, fantastic job, great circle of friends, always having a good time, but she's very conscious of the biological clock ticking.
It's a topic that you don't often read about in fiction novels. What is it that inspired you to write about it?
Well, I am a single mother, and I'm quite happy about being a single mother. I believe I have a fairly good life, and I went through, there was a stage on television where there were a lot of interviews with single mothers, particularly those who had babies with anonymous donors. And I noticed two things about them, and one was that they painted single motherhood as a somewhat depressing, somewhat lonely, somewhat isolated choice to make, and definitely not the plan A, definitely the plan B. The general feeling was that these women were disappointed that their knight in shining armour didn't show up. The second thing I noticed that was when women came on television to be interviewed, they tended not to be able to answer questions about the donor, and you could see that journalists were having a really hard time getting their head around why a male would offer himself up so altruistically. So while I've always enjoyed writing and I am a single mother, I don't believe just being a single mother alone is enough of a story, but it occurred to me then and there that it might be interesting to try writing a light-hearted, almost chick-lit style book on a woman who decides to have a baby by herself. And because there was such interest in the donor, I decided that she would have the baby with a donor. And from there I looked at all the options, and definitely the known donor was the best option in terms of creating that story and building that relationship.
How much research did you have to perform into the topic before writing the book?
I conducted a lot of research, and look, I mean, the internet is a fantastic thing because you have a world of forums of women who want to have babies and men who actually want to offer to help them. So for me it was a combination of talking to people online, talking to some people that I know, also reading a few books. We don't have a lot of literature in Australia around the subject, but internationally there are books, there are research studies, and I did quite a bit of reading and consultation with people as I wrote it, because it is quite an interesting subject and people have different motivations for wanting to have a child and wanting to help someone have a child. And the more I researched, the more I could distill it down to a few basic reasons, and that enabled me to create sort of the main characters and also the smaller characters that sort of inject a bit of humour and interest in the story.
And is writing fiction something you've always wanted to do? How did you come into it?
I've always wanted to write fiction, and I have probably attempted quite a few novels in my lifetime, but I think that this one really wrote itself and wrote itself quite quickly, because I felt I had landed upon something that hadn't been a story that hadn't been told in a light-hearted, accessible way, and also I guess in terms of having the experience of knowing what it's like to be a single mother and facing those challenges alone, I also knew what I was writing about. Obviously there was a lot of research involved, but I think once you have your story and you're writing from the heart, it really does come together in a way that previous novels haven't. But yes, I have always wanted to be a writer, so it's very exciting.
Thank you for joining us, Angela.
Thank you for having me.
The Rules of Conception is available now, online and in-store. And we'd love to hear your thoughts about the topic, so hop onto our Facebook and Twitter pages and let us know what you think. Until next month, happy reading!